Most seniors in America think downsizing means giving up comfort. But what if the real secret isn't having less, it's learning a few simple hacks that make your home work smarter than ever? Imagine walking into a space that feels lighter, easier to move around in, yet still supports every part of your daily routine. Downsizing doesn't have to feel like sacrifice. It can feel like freedom if you know the right tricks. And here's the best part. These aren't the same old organizing tips you've already heard 100 times. These are fresh, surprising, and in some cases, a little unconventional. In fact, one of them is so unusual most people laugh when they first hear it, until they actually try it, and then they can't imagine living without it. So if you've ever wondered how to make a smaller home feel bigger, brighter, and more supportive of your lifestyle after 60, you're in the right place. And before we dive in, let me ask you, do you want smoother, stress-free living in your next chapter? If the answer is yes, hit that like button, share this video with a friend who could use these hacks, and subscribe to Wise Aging Seniors, where we share practical and inspiring ways to make life after 60 not just simpler, but richer. Trust me, you won't want to miss what's coming next. Vera was 71 when she packed away the last few boxes in her Tucson home. 4 decades, she had been a piano teacher, her life filled with music, students, and a steady rhythm of practice and performance. Her old house had echoed with melodies, the walls lined with books of sheet music and the living room dominated by her beloved grand piano. But when her children were grown and she found herself alone in a space that suddenly felt far too large, she made the decision so many seniors across America wrestle with: she downsized. She traded in her 4-bedroom desert home for a modest 2-bedroom condo just outside Phoenix, a place with less square footage but, she hoped, more ease. At first, Therava believed this change meant shrinking her life. She imagined herself constantly bumping into storage problems, tripping over belongings she couldn't bear to part with, and feeling the weight of less pressing down on her. Like many seniors, she worried downsizing was another word for giving things up. But what she didn't expect was that this move would teach her something much different: how to make her home work for her instead of against her. The first few weeks in her condo were awkward. The piano had been replaced with a smaller upright version, her kitchen felt cramped compared to what she was used to, and she found herself asking, "Where does this go?" more times than she could count. But as the days passed, something shifted. Therava started experimenting with small changes, tiny adjustments in the way she set up her home. She realized that the freedom of a smaller space wasn't about fitting everything in, but about rethinking how her home served her daily life. One of the first lessons she learned was that comfort doesn't have to disappear with space, it can actually grow. She laughed when she figured out she didn't need 6 shelves of cookbooks anymore, she only needed the 3 she truly used. She discovered that when every item has a clear purpose, she spent less time searching, less time cleaning, and more time enjoying her day. Downsizing became less about subtraction and more about addition, adding calm, adding time, adding joy. Today, Therava's mornings look nothing like they once did. Instead of moving through a maze of furniture and possessions, she begins her day with sunlight streaming across a clear, uncluttered living room. She makes coffee in a kitchen designed for efficiency, then sits by her upright piano, playing the same favorite pieces that once filled her larger home, only now, the sound feels even richer in her cozier space. Downsizing didn't take away her life, it sharpened it. And through clever hacks, she found ways to make her home smoother, lighter, and, in many ways, more fun than before. Have you ever worried that downsizing would mean losing a part of yourself? Therava's story proves it can mean the opposite. It's not about shrinking your life, it's about reshaping it into something that fits you better, right here and right now. Hack 1. The borrow, don't buy rule. When Therava first moved into her smaller condo, one of the very first purchases she made was a brand new ladder. She thought, of course I'll need this. Every homeowner needs a ladder. So she tucked it neatly into the corner of her garage, proud that she was prepared for whatever came up, changing a light bulb, reaching high shelves, cleaning vents. But here's the truth, months passed, and the ladder never left its spot. It became one more object taking up precious room in a home that didn't have extra space to begin with. The irony wasn't lost on her. Downsizing was supposed to lighten her load, Yet she was already slipping back into the old habit of filling her life with just-in-case items. That's when she discovered a different way of thinking, what she now calls the borrow, don't buy rule. Instead of automatically purchasing items she'd use once in a blue moon, she started asking, do I really need to own this? Or can I simply borrow it when the time comes? The answer, she found, was surprisingly simple. Across the US, especially in retirement communities and senior neighborhoods, something powerful is happening. Tool libraries and sharing exchanges are growing. Imagine a library, but instead of books, it's filled with the things you need occasionally: ladders, power drills, carpet cleaners, gardening tools. Members borrow an item, use it, and return it, all without needing to dedicate half a garage to objects that collect dust. For seniors who've downsized, this is more than just convenient, it's liberating. Why clutter up your smaller home with bulky equipment you'll only touch once a year? Therava realized she didn't need to own a ladder, a drill, or even a bulky steam cleaner. Her neighbor already had them, and in exchange, she shared what she did have: a sewing kit, extra folding chairs, even a slow cooker she only pulled out for big gatherings. The emotional shift was remarkable. Instead of feeling weighed down by things she might someday need, she felt connected to her community. Borrowing became more than a practical hack, it was a way of building trust and relationships. Downsizing had taken away her extra square footage, but this rule gave her something far more valuable: a network of support. And here's a question for you. Look around your home right now. What's the one big item you rarely use, yet it sits there, taking up space? Maybe it's a treadmill gathering dust. Maybe it's a punch bowl that only comes out once a decade. Or maybe, like Therava, it's a ladder. Drop your answer in the comments. I'd love to see what things you could let go of if you embrace the borrow, don't buy rule. Because here's the truth: you don't need to fill your downsized home with just-in-case clutter. You need freedom, space, and connection. And sometimes, the smartest purchase is no purchase at all. Hack 2: Rolling Zones. When Therava first moved into her downsized condo, one of the biggest frustrations she faced was feeling like her rooms were locked in. The living room was just a living room. The kitchen was just a kitchen. Each space had one fixed identity, and that left her feeling limited. She missed the flexibility of her larger home, where there always seemed to be a spare corner or extra table for projects, guests, or hobbies. But in her smaller place, every surface counted. That's when she stumbled on a clever solution that completely changed how she thought about her home: rolling zones. The idea is simple, but the impact is powerful. Instead of being stuck with fixed furniture and permanent setups, you create movable, flexible zones using rolling carts. In the morning, a small cart can act as a cheerful coffee station: her mugs, coffee maker, sugar, and spoons all neatly contained and rolled into the kitchen. By afternoon, that very same cart becomes her crafting station. She swaps out the coffee supplies for yarn, sheet music, or art materials, and suddenly she has a hobby space without needing an entire room. At night, when the Arizona sun cools and she waters her plants, the cart becomes a miniature plant stand, rolling over by the window so her herbs and succulents get just the right amount of light. Therava especially loves how this hack makes her home guest-ready. She no longer worries about having a bar or buffet table for visitors. Instead, her trusty cart becomes her guest bar. When friends stop by for tea or a glass of wine, she simply rolls it into the living room, topped with glasses, drinks, and a small plate of snacks. It creates a warm, welcoming atmosphere, without needing permanent furniture cluttering her small space. The beauty of rolling zones is that they transform a single room into multiple functions without the need for renovations or extra square footage. As Therava describes it, it's like turning one room into three without knocking down a single wall. This isn't just clever, it's empowering. Downsizing doesn't have to mean giving up flexibility, it can actually inspire more of it. Think about it. Instead of buying bulky furniture for every activity, 1 or 2 rolling carts can adapt to your lifestyle. They're light, easy to move, and can be customized with trays, baskets, or shelves. More importantly, they give you the feeling that your home is working with you, not against you. So here's my question for you. If you had one rolling cart, what would you use it for first? A coffee station? A crafting hub? Or maybe a mobile bar like Therava's? Let us know in the comments. Because when space is limited, creativity is your greatest tool. And rolling zones prove that a smaller home doesn't have to limit you. It can move with you, shift with you, and support every chapter of your day. Hack 3. The Seasonal Swap Box. When Therava first settled into her smaller condo, one of the hardest adjustments wasn't the living room or the kitchen, it was her closet. For years, she had been able to spread her clothing across multiple wardrobes and dressers. Winter coats lived in the guest room, dresses filled the hall closet, and seasonal accessories spilled into storage bins in the garage. Downsizing took all of that away. Suddenly, every item she owned had to squeeze into one modest-sized closet and a single dresser. Within weeks, she realized what many seniors discover: even after decluttering, closets can feel like a battlefield. Clothes she rarely wore pressed up against her favorites, and every morning she felt overwhelmed by choices she didn't actually want. That's when she created what she now calls the Seasonal Swap Box. Instead of trying to fit all her clothes into her closet at once, she bought one sturdy underbed storage box. The rule was simple: anything out of season goes into the box. In Arizona's summer heat, her heavy sweaters and coats disappeared under the bed. In winter, the tank tops and summer dresses rotated into storage. This meant that every time she opened her closet, she only saw clothes she actually wore in that season. No clutter, no confusion, no guilt staring back at her from hangers. The emotional difference was huge. Instead of feeling like her closet was constantly overflowing, it suddenly felt curated, calm, and manageable. She told a friend, "It's like I walk into a little boutique filled only with what I love right now." And that's the magic of the Seasonal Swap Box. It removes decision fatigue, making mornings lighter and freeing up space in a way that makes downsized living feel empowering instead of restrictive. This hack also taught her something important about attachment. She realized she didn't need to let go of every single piece of clothing she loved. She could still keep her cozy winter coat and the scarf her daughter knitted for her, even if she wouldn't touch them for 6 months. Downsizing didn't mean constant sacrifice. It meant finding smarter systems to enjoy the best of both worlds. If you've ever stood in front of your closet, feeling like you had nothing to wear despite the hangers being full, this hack is for you. One simple box can change the way you experience your wardrobe. It's not just about saving space, it's about saving mental energy and allowing your home to support your life with ease. And here's the thing, this is only the beginning. Because while the Seasonal Swap Box gave Therava peace of mind every morning, hack number 5 is the one that shocked even her closest friends. It goes completely against what most of us were taught growing up, and yet it turned out to be one of the smartest choices she ever made. You won't want to miss it. Hack 4. Silent Safety Alerts. When Therava first moved into her downsized condo, she quickly realized that smaller spaces come with new routines and new worries. In her larger home, leaving the fridge cracked open or forgetting to turn off the oven wasn't always noticeable right away, but there was space, airflow, and family around to catch little mistakes. In her new, quieter life, she sometimes found herself second-guessing: did I close the refrigerator? Did I turn off the stove? For many seniors, these questions can linger in the back of the mind, turning simple daily tasks into stress points. At first, Therava tried the traditional solutions: loud beeping timers, sticky notes by the stove, even asking her daughter to call and remind her when she was baking. But all of those fixes felt heavy-handed. The constant alarms made her feel like she was being scolded in her own home, and the reminders only emphasized what she was afraid of losing: her independence. What she wanted wasn't more noise, but more peace of mind. That's when she discovered a growing trend among seniors in the United States: silent safety alerts. Instead of loud, jarring alarms, these smart devices send gentle notifications when something is off. Her phone now gives a soft ping if the fridge door is left open longer than a few minutes. If she forgets to turn off the oven, she doesn't hear a shrill alarm, she gets a calm reminder through her smartwatch. Even her front door lock is connected, giving her a subtle nudge if she leaves it unlocked at night. For Therava, this small change was life-altering. The quiet alerts removed the tension of noisy alarms that made her feel nervous and on edge. They gave her confidence in her routines, while still respecting her desire for independence. As she put it, "It keeps me safe, but it doesn't nag me." That distinction mattered deeply, because downsizing wasn't just about smaller rooms, it was about creating a calmer life. And she's not alone. Across the country, more seniors are embracing these tools because they strike the perfect balance between safety and dignity. Families feel reassured knowing their loved one has discreet backup, and seniors feel empowered because their homes are protecting them without taking over. Think about how many times you've worried after leaving the house. Did I forget something? Did I leave something on? Silent safety alerts remove that constant background worry. Instead of your mind being cluttered with doubt, you can relax, knowing the gentle reminder will come if it's needed. And here's the emotional core. Downsizing doesn't just require making rooms smoother, it means making your days calmer. Devices like these aren't about technology for technology's sake, they're about giving back peace of mind. So let me ask you, would you feel more confident with gentle alerts watching your back, or do you prefer doing things the old-fashioned way? Drop your answer in the comments. Because for Therava, this wasn't just another gadget. It was a quiet revolution in how she lived, safer, calmer, and fully independent. Hack 5. The One Mug Lifestyle. When Therava first heard about the idea of keeping just one mug, one plate, and one fork per person, she laughed out loud. That's impossible, she thought. After all, she had spent her entire adult life building collections, sets of china for holidays, rows of mugs gifted by students, drawers full of silverware that rarely saw daylight. Downsizing forced her to give some of it away, but she still clung to the belief that a proper home needed fully stocked cupboards. Then one afternoon, after washing yet another stack of dishes she had let pile up, she thought, what if I just tried it? She chose her favorite mug, the one her daughter had painted for her on Mother's Day. She picked out the plate she always reached for anyway, with a soft blue rim that reminded her of calm skies. And she set aside a single fork and spoon, polished and practical. The rest went into storage. At first, it felt like a joke, almost like she was pretending. But within days, something remarkable happened. Her sink stayed empty. Her counters stayed clear. She couldn't put off the dishes anymore, because the moment she used her one mug or plate, she had to clean it if she wanted it again. The change wasn't just about tidiness, it reshaped her habits. Instead of waking up to cluttered counters and sighing at the mess before breakfast, she walked into a clean, welcoming kitchen. Downsizing had already made her space smaller, but this quirky little experiment made her routine smoother. She found herself laughing, because the solution to her mess wasn't a new organizing gadget or another system, it was the opposite. It was having less. The emotional impact surprised her most of all. For decades, she had felt responsible for maintaining the appearance of abundance, a full set of dishes, extra cups for guests, drawers of cutlery just in case. But now, she realized her life didn't need to be guest-ready every second of the day. When visitors came, she could always bring out extras from storage. But in her daily life, she only needed what she truly used. It gave her a sense of freedom she hadn't felt in years. This lifestyle hack isn't for everyone, and that's exactly why it sparks conversation. Could you live with just one mug, one plate, and one fork? Or does the idea feel too extreme? Drop a yes or no in the comments. I bet this one will divide the room. For Therava, the one mug lifestyle became a little inside joke with herself. Every time she rinsed her mug right after her morning coffee, she smiled. Downsizing didn't have to mean losing joy. Sometimes it meant finding joy in the simplest, quirkiest routines, and discovering that less really can be more. Hack 6. The Guest-Ready Drawer. One of the fears Therava had when she left her spacious Tucson home was that she would no longer be able to host friends and family the way she used to. In her old house, she had a dining table that stretched long enough for a holiday feast, a linen closet stuffed with extra blankets and towels, and a garage that held more folding chairs than she could ever count. But when she moved into her smaller condo, those hosting comforts were suddenly gone. Her new dining table seated only 4. Her linen closet was half the size. And her storage space was nearly non-existent. She wondered, will people stop visiting me? Will I stop being the gatherer of the family? Instead of letting that fear come true, Therava came up with what she now calls her guest-ready drawer. It wasn't a big closet or a storage room. It was one single drawer, tucked away in her hallway. Inside, she kept everything she needed to make her downsized home instantly welcoming. Foldable chairs that collapsed flat, stacked neatly in their cases. A small set of fluffy towels rolled tightly, ready for overnight guests. Collapsible bowls and plates that took up barely any space until they were needed. Even a set of LED candles and a lightweight throw blanket to make the living room cozy in seconds. The beauty of this hack is that it transformed her attitude. No longer did she dread unexpected visitors or feel embarrassed about having too little. Instead, she felt prepared. With one drawer, she could create comfort and hospitality on demand. When her neighbor dropped by unexpectedly, she pulled out a chair and a tray, and the condo instantly felt like a bigger, warmer home. When her granddaughter spent the night, there were fresh towels and a blanket waiting. No scrambling, no stress. The emotional shift was just as important as the practical one. Downsizing had made Therava fear she was giving up her role as a host, as someone who opened her doors to others. But the guest-ready drawer reminded her that hospitality isn't about square footage, it's about thoughtfulness. She realized she could still create moments of connection and warmth, even without the sprawling house she once had. And here's the truth, one small drawer can carry a big message. It tells your friends and family, you're welcome here. I thought of you. That's what people remember, not whether you had a giant dining table or a walk-in linen closet. So here's a thought for you. What could you put in your own guest-ready drawer? Would it be extra mugs for coffee? A set of collapsible stools? A basket of cozy socks? Share your answer in the comments, because your idea might inspire someone else. For Therava, this little hack didn't just save space, it saved a piece of her identity. Her home always feels ready for guests, even in a smaller space. And that, she discovered, is the real secret to making downsizing feel like freedom instead of loss. Hack 7. Microgardens. When Therava left her Tucson home, one of the things she grieved most wasn't the extra rooms or the garage, it was her backyard. For decades, she had spent early mornings pruning her roses, afternoons tending to tomatoes, and evenings sitting under the mesquite tree watching hummingbirds dart between the flowers. Gardening wasn't just a hobby for her, it was a rhythm, a way to stay grounded and connected to life. Downsizing to a condo meant losing that patch of earth, and for the first few months, she felt something was missing. The condo was easier to manage, yes, but without her garden, it felt a little less alive. That's when she discovered the world of microgardens. Across the United States, especially among seniors who are downsizing, indoor gardens are booming. From hydroponic countertop systems to simple window planters, these compact gardens allow you to keep fresh herbs, greens, and even small vegetables inside your home, all without needing a yard. Therava decided to give it a try. She set up a small herb garden right in her kitchen, starting with basil, mint, and parsley. Within weeks, she was clipping fresh herbs and sprinkling them directly into her meals. One night, as she stirred her pasta, she smiled while snipping basil straight into the pot. It was a taste of her old life, now thriving in her new space. The joy went beyond flavor. Having living, growing plants inside her home made her condo feel vibrant. It gave her a sense of routine, a reason to check in every morning and evening, and the satisfaction of nurturing something. Downsizing had taken away her backyard, but the microgarden gave her back that daily connection to nature. And the beauty is, you don't need fancy equipment to start one. A sunny windowsill, a couple of pots, or even a simple countertop hydro system can transform your kitchen or living room into a little oasis. Some seniors grow lettuce in small planters, enjoying fresh salads without a trip to the store. Others create mini flower gardens to bring color and fragrance indoors. These gardens don't just add greenery, they add life. The emotional pull is powerful. Downsizing doesn't mean giving up joy, it just means shrinking the footprint, not the experience. For Therava, her tiny indoor garden became a reminder that even in a smaller space, abundance is possible. She didn't lose her love for gardening, she simply found a new way to practice it. So here's my question for you. If you started a microgarden, what would you grow first? Fresh herbs, leafy greens, or maybe colorful flowers to brighten your mornings? Share your answer in the comments, because your idea might inspire someone else to bring a little more life into their downsized home. For Therava, the herbs in her kitchen did more than season her meals. They seasoned her days with joy, reminding her that a smaller space can still hold a full, flourishing life. When you step into Therava's condo today, you can immediately feel the difference. The rooms are bright and open, not because they are large, but because they are free from clutter. Every corner has a purpose, every drawer serves a function, and every surface feels intentional. Her rolling cart shifts easily from coffee station in the morning to guest bar at night. Her guest-ready drawer waits quietly with folding chairs and towels, ready to welcome family and friends. Her closet holds only the clothes she truly wears, and beneath her bed, the seasonal swap box tucks away the rest until the seasons change. Even her kitchen carries a quiet kind of joy, with basil, mint, and parsley growing fresh in a little microgarden by the window. The transformation isn't just in the look of her home, it's in the way she feels inside it. Downsizing once frightened her. She thought it meant closing the door on the life she had built. But what she discovered was the opposite. By letting go of the excess and leaning into these simple but powerful hacks, she found a smoother rhythm to her days. No more stacks of dishes waiting for her in the sink. No more rooms filled with furniture she barely touched. No more silent stress about whether she'd lost her role as a host. Her home is smaller now, yes, but her freedom is larger than it's ever been. This is the part that often surprises people. Downsizing didn't shrink her life, it expanded it. It gave her more time to play her piano, more energy to meet with friends, more peace of mind knowing her space worked with her, not against her. Each hack wasn't just about saving space, it was about creating space for living. That's what makes these little shifts so powerful. They don't just change your home, they change your days, your routines, your sense of control. And here's where you come in. Which of these hacks could make the biggest difference in your home? Would you try the borrow, don't buy rule to clear your garage? Would you give the one mug lifestyle a daring try, or maybe set up a microgarden to bring life back into your kitchen? Let us know in the comments, I want to hear your take. If this video sparked new ideas for your own journey after 60, do me a favor, hit that like button, share it with a friend who needs inspiration, and subscribe to Wise Aging Seniors. Because your home should never feel like a burden. It should run smoother, lighter, and freer, just like your next chapter. Life after 60 isn't about less, it's about more of what matters most.